dive in. We've got a wonderful program ready for you. Thank you so much for coming. If you just joined us, welcome. And it's so good to see you all, because here's the thing. There many of you have been following me for a little while. And Mari Smith in the house, Facebook expert since 2007. Cannot believe it's going to be 18 years. Where the heck did 18 years even go? Can anybody relate with that has like a long career? I don't know. The days are flying by. Um, but here's the thing. I have been passionately studying the human design system since late 2020, early 2021. And I'll get into that a little bit more in a minute in my story. But first, I want to know in the chat. We had over 300 people signed up for this, so it's awesome. You'll be catching the replay for those of you circling back later. We love you. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know in the chat if you know your human design type, if you know what you are already, if you are a generator, projector, manifesting generator. Maybe you could even tell me if you know your profile. Like there, great. Oh, I see. Wow, you guys are brilliant. Look at all of these. And don't worry, if you're seeing a lot of people in the chat and you're like, what are they even talking about? Don't worry, you'll be a little more up to speed after today. So Christine is a projector. Gloria, you're a manifesting generator 6-2. Wow, powerhouse. Kieran, generator. Maddie, you're a self-projector projector. Oh, how sweet. I don't know why I said that, but it is. It's sweet. I'm a generator, right? Projector 1-3 for Sue, generator 4-6 for hi Jess. Good to see you, lovely. No worries if you don't know your type. Janet's a projector. Joan Marie. Oh, I love it. Projector. Allison projector. Shilpai, no, you're a powerhouse. MG, manifesting generator. Mari, you're a 6-2. Barry is an emotional authority. MG 6-2. I love it. Susan MG. Kieran 5-1. Yeah. It's your first time. Yeah. And if this is your first time, this is not needed. You don't have to know anything whatsoever about human design, because this is a beginner's guide. And if you're just joining us in, I was mentioning about how I always use my glam cam. And today I was like, you know what? I'm just going to use my Logitech because it sits right on top of my Mac and I don't have to worry about all the lights blinding me in my eyes and reflecting in my glasses. And I've got a big picture window. So whatever, onwards we go. Let me share my screen and I've got a lovely program designed for you. Yeah, and unfortunately, I think I've goofed with the settings that I didn't set it up to be muted. So when you're first coming in, you have to mute yourself. I don't know how I missed that. Adair, I always get that one. Cheapers creepers. But yeah, Adair, if you can just keep an eye on folks coming in, you should have the power. I have anointed you with the power to mute people's. All right. And if there's something, feel free to unmute and grab me if there's like a question that you're like, what the heck did she just say? I have no idea. That's totally fine. And you can do that. But I want to make it quite interactive. And I think thank you, Jazz. You're so sweet. Threw myself together. Oh, yeah, sure, Jess. Yeah, yeah, I'm seeing your DM here. You're more than welcome to. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting to get into the Zoom. Yeah, yeah, no worries. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so beginner's guide to the human design system to transform your life, business, and big decisions. And as I say, this is something I've been studying passionately for the last several years. And to be honest, maybe some of you can relate to this. Navigating a situation where I absolutely still have my main career as Miss Facebook marketing expert, social media thought leader, speaker, trainer, course creator, all the things. And I don't have any intention of abandoning that. At the same time, I'm so passionate about human design. I just love it. It lights me up. And there's a business application for it. So it's like I want to do both and I have been navigating it a little bit for the last several years, but it's actually been a couple of years since I did any kind of like really official human design broadcast. So what we're going to cover briefly, what is the human design system? I'm going to show you this amazing, my favorite little 1-minute video that shows how a chart is calculated. We're going to have a peek. Some of you, I think that most of you are kind of like somewhat on the woo-woo side, or at least you don't mind. You don't mind a little teeny bit of woo-woo. Like you're open-minded. Let's just put it that way. You're open-minded. You're like curious. So go, what is happening in this crazy world today? So I'm going to give you a little bit of insight into that. Then we've got the 4 types. Your inner authority, like how you make aligned decisions. And I specifically want to make sure that I give you some tips on the marketing application of human design. Some takeaways there. And then this is a documentary film that I've been part of the team helping behind the scenes. It's called 4% Experiment, Human Design and Global Cycles documentary. We're going to watch the trailer together. And then there's a very, very exciting crowdfunding campaign happening. And this is just a little aside. It's not like the main purpose of this presentation here today. You'll get tons of value for free. And then we'll take a peek at this documentary. And if it speaks to you, you can go ahead and chip in a little bit. And then I've got a couple of offers for you if you want to like get a reading from me or whatever it might be. So, all right, so let's dive in further. And you can think of human design as like a genetic blueprint. It's the blueprint or the imprint of many of you probably know astrology, right? So you know that depending on where the positions of the planets are, like we're all impacted by the moon, even if we just think about the moon. You know, the word lunatic comes from lunar. Sometimes where the moon is can make us a little Looney Tunes. But I'm just saying that in the context of how, you know, planets impact us. There's no question that we're impacted by planets. So you could think of maybe as an operating manual. GPS, right? Global positioning system for yourself or your own individual inner compass.
Look at you on that big thing.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, if you could catch those, I dare. I apologize, friends, when folks are coming in unmuted. My bad, mistakes. You'll hear a little bit about that. Mistakes are something that I tend to make as a third line. Anybody knows third lines? And how to make correct decisions, to trust your own self and specifically your body's wisdom. When I had my second reading, actually, I had my very first reading around 2003. It made absolutely no sense. It was just complete gobbledygook and hieroglyphics and Greek and foreign. And all I remember from that reading is the guy said, "Hey, Mari, you have a really busy mind. It must be hard for you to meditate." And I'm like, yep. So fast forward, that was 2003-ish. And then it was 2020, which it circled back into my life. And then I all of a sudden started to understand it. And when I had my full reading, then I was like, oh, wait, my body has wisdom. I don't have to make decisions with my head. So that was pretty amazing. You'll see as we progress here. So we think of human design as basically a synthesis of two families of science. So certainly the ancient esoteric, you know, you've got Eastern and Western astrology, the brilliant ancient thousands of years old Chinese I Ching with those wee hexagrams. There's also the chakras in there and the Kabbalah. And then on the exoteric side, quantum physics, astronomy, biochemistry, and genetics. So it's this beautiful fusion. And I got to tell you, friends, that I have been fascinated by things like personality tests, personality assessments since my teens. I think my mid-teens. I think I was 15 years old, which is a long time ago, that I first discovered the DISC system. Let me know in the chat if you, and Sue, I'll tell you in a minute, I'm a generator 1-3. I'll show you my chart. But I did the DISC, then the Myers-Briggs, and Discover Your Strengths, and the Enneagram, and oh gosh, what was this? The Colby. What all of you experimented with or tried out? Or Jim, you're certified in DISC and yeah, DISC. You're an IS. Susan, neat. Yeah, I'm a high I with a C. I like to say I'm a high I with a C rising. Gloria has done DISC, Colby, Myers-Briggs. Yeah. And a Russian one. Wow, a lot of you done DISC and Myers-Briggs. Yep, dabbled in Enneagram. Hey, Barry. Yep. Caroline. I still love DISC. And StrengthsFinder is amazing too. I do like StrengthsFinder. Colby. And Wealth Dynamics. That's right, Lindy. Roger Hamilton. He's a friend of mine. StrengthsFinder. Top one was Woo. I love Woo. Woo means win others over, friends, if you're familiar with that. I've got Woo. Woo's in my top 5. Maximizer is one of them. All the above, yeah. Josie, you flatline on DISC. That's hilarious. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Thanks for letting me know. You feel free to carry on. So like you all, similar. I'm totally right here with my tribe because I have been fascinated by you know, just trying to understand myself and others, right? Loved ones, clients, just people in general, like what makes them tick. How come this, like maybe even things like relationship conflict or challenges in the workplace. And so when I really started to lean into human design in January of 21, it was mind blowing. It was just so accurate. So just a couple of the components with the Chinese I Ching, you can see it in the what's called the mandala, which I'll show you in a minute. You don't have to remember all this part. I tend to be really detail oriented, so I'm kind of speaking to my detail people. You got these 64 hexagrams. Maybe you've dabbled with a little bit with the I Ching. You can throw those little coins. There's like a really amazing use cases of the I Ching. In this case, we don't throw coins, but it's an aspect of how the mandala was put together with all of these different lines. And the ancient Chinese were so brilliant. Little did we know until fast forward till like the 1980s. By the way, human design came about in 1987. If you look at our DNA, we have 64 codons and 6 groups of amino acids per codon. Well, watch this. On the I Ching, you got 64 hexagrams, which go around the wheel. That's just a little glimpse of the wheel or mandala, and 6 lines per hexagram. So, well, that's kind of interesting. This is where we're getting a glimpse into how is it that the planetary positions actually can impact us at the genetic level, at our codon level. Now, this is really fascinating too because see, we have evolved from the typical 7-centered, right? So everybody's probably familiar with the chakras, right? The root chakra on up to the crown. Well, we don't call them chakras in human design. They're called energy centers, and there's 9 of them. We actually mutated, we evolved in 1781 into having 9 energy centers. And it's just a next evolution of our human species, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a moment. I'm going to get too down the rabbit hole with you. So you're asking about my own chart. This is my chart, and you can see this, what happens, and also I think I have more slides coming up and getting ahead of myself, but anything in black down this right-hand side, these are the positions of the planets at the moment of birth. And by the way, if you don't yet have your chart, I did include it in the signups and the emails, but you can go to mybodygraph.com. You do have to create a, whoopsies, I'm on the pen. Hang on, I'm clicking all over with my pen. Go back over to here. You can go to mybodygraph.com, or if you want to get a really quick chart without having to create a sign up, signing into an account. I just saw it there. This one will get you your chart without having to worry about creating an account. Okay, Jovian Archive is really, it's the official site. It's run by the family of the founder. Okay, so the moment of birth, that's why if you can, the more accurate your birth time, the better. And really ideally down to the minute. If you don't know that, there's ways you can do kind of reverse engineer it. You can have what's called a birth rectification done by a really good astrologer. I actually had that done. I was born at home. My dad delivered me. My mom almost said, yeah, you were born somewhere between 12:15 and 12:30. I don't know the exact minute. It was just me and your dad. And all I know, I was eating some cinnamon buns at 12:45 that had baked earlier that day. I'm like, thanks, Mom. That tells me a lot. So, but it was when I started doing my human design studies, I realized I used to always pick 12:20, and I realized it wasn't quite right. As the deeper layers I went in, and I had a birth rectification done, and it turned out it was 12:24, and those 4 minutes made all the difference. And the deeper layers, it usually doesn't change things at the high level. So this is where the position of the planets were at the moment of birth, and it's conscious. Anything black in the chart is conscious. Now, this is what makes human design so different from regular astrology, or really any other system. This is approximately 88 days, or you can call it 88 degrees of the sun, before the moment of your birth, and it forms your unconscious. Whoa. So we're a quantum. We're a holistic part of the sum of the parts. So that you've got the conscious and the unconscious. So I am a generator type. Anytime anybody ever, if you see this red sacral, it's called a sacral or sacral, depending what part of the world you're in, we're going to call it sacral or sacral. And anytime that's filled in, defined, we call it defined, colored in, it's going to give you access to this consistent generative energy. Now, guess what? 66% of the whole world, 2/3, are generative types. Buzz, 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 busy, 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 worker bees, hustle, just pouring your energy ideally into projects and activities and work and hobbies that you love, that lights you up. So I'm called a profile. My profile is 1-3. That's an investigator. I go way down the rabbit hole, deep, deep details. I actually have 10 line ones. So I really have to create a solid foundation. And then the third line on the body side is about trial and error, making mistakes, bumping into things. It's called a martyr. Just means that you learn by trial and error. Okay, and my authority is my sacral. So I make decisions by trusting my gut. And then the cross, that's where your sun and earth were conscious and unconscious. It makes what's called a cross because it looks like a cross on the wheel, because the sun and earth are opposite each other. So I'm born to explain all these activations in my throat. I take the complex, simplify it, and explain it so other people will understand. I also like to experiment and make things different. So my third lines, and I can make mistakes. As I say, all my third lines are in my throat. So sometimes I misspeak. Feel free to catch me if I say something here. Wait a minute, that didn't make sense. um, but yeah, so that's just where I'm at with my chart and just real brief. And I think I mentioned, yeah, I know I mentioned earlier, my very first reading, that's one that just went right over my head. And all I remember, the only thing I remember, and I didn't even remember this was it, but now I know, when the analyst said to me, Mara, you have a really busy mind. It must be hard for you to meditate. Yep. If you have 6447 like me, this is called abstraction. It's the design of a busy mind. It's a busy mind that's confused sometimes, or yeah, then mixed with clarity. Clarity comes, and it goes over the past. It's a very visual mind. It goes over the past in order to create a better future. Then I was reunited in December 2020. It was literally winter solstice. My dear friend Devi, she's coming to, we've been best friends for like, oh gosh, 15, 18 years. And she was coming to my house back when I lived in San Diego. I live in Oregon now. And she's sitting at my breakfast table and she just says, Mari, I don't know why, but my intuition told me I was supposed to bring you this book. And she reached into her purse and she pulled out a book on human design. And I talk about sacral response. I leapt up out of my chair and I was just like, oh, human design, there's books on that. You can study it. And like from that moment onwards, like to this day, I've just been, I don't use the word obsessed, but like fascinated, lit up and curious about, wow, what is this system and how can I apply it? How can I help people to understand it and to apply it to their businesses and marketing and social media and personal lives and relationships? And interestingly, we all kind of go through cycles every 10 years. And when I turned 50 in 2016, my Chiron cross was service. So I'm always going to be explanation, but there's this other layer of service. So I was like, I wasn't as satisfied with my Facebook career. I wanted to add on something more. And I was like, wow, perfect timing. So we call it an experiment. Don't take anything I say today for gospel. This is not a belief system. It's not a cult. It's not a doctrine. It's a giant experiment. You get to learn about yourself and others, your loved ones, your people in your life, children, family members, clients, you name it. Run in their charts. Getting to understand yourself as a generator. If you're a projector type, you're predominantly going to focus on the people in your life first, and then really being in that daily experiment of just transforming your life decision by decision. We're not meant to make mental decisions. We're here to make body wisdom decisions. So, with me so far, hopefully. Thank you, Mel, manifesting generator. Jess, yeah, Jess has everything defined except the gate 4. Really busy mind. Yeah, that's right. Okay, perfect. So now what I'm going to do, we're going to watch this 1-minute video. Oh, I have to stop sharing because I remember I have to hit the wee audio button. Greetings and welcome. If you joined us late, you're perfectly here on time, and we love that you're here. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, I just saw a cool comment right there. Sheila, you're saying Colby, Myers-Briggs, Ayurveda, dosha. Yeah, the doshas, tarot, Kabbalah, dowsing, Chinese medicine, indigenous systems. You guys are amazing. I love you. Thanks for being here, Jess. Jess and I are working on the documentary project together, which is super exciting. Okay, so I've got this ready for us, open right here in YouTube. So And I should have the volume is on. Yep. And I usually check my speed. I watch everything so speeded up. I have one of those little plugins. Yep. It's at one X speed. Sometimes I go to play a video and it's like 2X speed. Okay. So this is a 1 minute video explaining how a human design chart is created. I'm actually going to make it go full screen. You can still see that, right? Because it's, yeah, perfect. All right. Let's hit play and we'll watch this video. It should have the audio coming through. If not, let me know.
Each of the planets moves through our solar system at a different speed. They follow a consistent orbit around the Sun, but from the perspective of the Earth, their movements and speeds seem to fluctuate. The first step in calculating a human design chart is to map the positions of the planets in relationship to the Earth. The human design mandala has 64 divisions that are used to track the movements of the planets, the moon, and other aspects of our solar system. The positions mapped in the mandala activate corresponding elements of the human design body graph, approximately 3 months before your birth, and again at the moment of your birth. These activated elements are recorded. It is the combination of what is colored in and what is left open that creates your unique human design chart.
Perfect. So, oh, no worries, Tracy. So the combination, what he said there, the combination of what's, hang on, next slide, colored in and what is left open that makes your unique chart. And the wheel is an ancient device for measuring the movement of the planets and the sun. And you'll see what happens is the planets all go around the wheel counterclockwise. That is the movement, the natural movement. Now, when they go retrograde, familiar with retrograde? It's like, Mercury retrograde, all the crazy things that can happen. And then what happens is the planets go clockwise around the wheel. And so depending on, like I said in the video, the positioning of each of the planets, that will determine your, like where your sun was, your Earth, all the planets. And then with the Earth at the center, you can accurately determine the elements that affect or rule your life. So, and I mentioned this when I had my own chart up earlier. Actually, this is my own chart. The black activations, moment of birth, conscious personality. The red activations, you can see the red and the red little lines are called gates. And when it lights up both sides, it makes a channel, is unconscious. So for example, if we take my 214, you can see when it, because there's the 2 and the 14, here's the 2 and here's the 14, then that lights up. It lights up my sacral, and it lights up both like the centers or the energy centers at either side. Think of it too like a circuit board. I think I have a slide coming up. Yeah, this one, circuit board. We can think of literally you have printed inside of you a circuit board. And that's why, if you ever noticed when you're out and about in a crowd or certain people that you know, you just can feel different ways with them. Like it's almost like they light something up inside of you. And that is absolutely what is going on, is that they're lighting up other aspects of you. For example, I am what's called a split definition. See, I've got my sacral and my G center, which is where identity and direction and love, and then it's split off. I don't have gate 1. I have all these activations in my head and my throat. Organized, structuring my knowing, sharing and explaining. And then someone comes along with gate 1 and they can hook me up, hook up my, or connect to like bridge. We call it bridging my split and give me more access to the rest of my definition. So, what Ra, the founder of the system, says, human design is about making decisions as yourself. And this is going to be really exciting. In a moment, I'm going to shift gears and talk about the planetary cycles, because we are moving into a time where people are going to be so much more self-empowered, not going around with their hands out expecting the boss, the government, the institution, the education, whatever, to provide for you. We're here to really be I was going to say self-sufficient, but sovereign beings. Like, you're your own inner authority. Human design opens the door to the potential of self-love, a love of life, and the love of others through understanding. I just love that. This is really one of Ra's primary messages, that when you when you can see how phenomenal, beautiful, and incredible you are, like a snowflake, right? Totally different and unique. And to be able to just love that about yourself. Because unfortunately, there's a lot of ranging anywhere from like just mild dislike of the self to complete self-loathing. And over the years, Ra, the founder, like I say, he brought this into being and through an amazing 8-day mystical experience in the island of Ibiza. And he did about 15,000 human design readings over the next couple decades. And then he's just like, I'm just going to focus on teaching the teachers because every time I do a reading for someone, they don't even recognize themselves because there's just so much like there's a malaise on the planet where people don't even realize how amazing they are. And it's like they're kind of like disliking or hating the wrong person. They're disliking their not self. All right, so we're going to switch gears here and we talk about these global cycles, and then we'll go in more into the four types and the decision making strategy, your inner authority. So for some of you, this is going to be super duper woo woo. For others, you'll be like, OMG, this is totally speaking my language, and I'm sure there'll be everything in between the current global cycles. Because what human design can also explain is not only the genetic imprint, by the way, not just the genetic imprint of human beings, it's literally called the design of forms. You know, animals have charts. My primary human design teacher, her name is Andrea, Dr. Andrea, and she is humandesign.at. You'd have to translate her site into English because it's in German. Phenomenal, phenomenal lady. She is probably the most knowledgeable person on the planet about human design, and she's been teaching it for close to 30 years. And she teaches all the advanced courses, and she also is an incredible horse lady. Do we have any horse people in the house? Any people like really love horses? Because she is an incredible horse lady, and you can literally get like a human design reading for your horse or any. She's got companion and companion mammal, dogs, cats. You do need to know their moment of birth. Sheila is a horse person. I love it. Yeah, yeah, amazing. So it's not, plants even. Yeah, Shilpa, you could get your kitties if you know the day, ideally the day, but then it would need to be the accurate time too, ideally. So global cycles. So some of you might have heard or be familiar with, for example, the 25,000 year cycles. That's called the Great Year. And I've linked you up here to an incredible documentary you can just watch on YouTube. I forget how long. Yeah, it's only 46 minutes and it's just so worth it. It came out a long, long time ago. I mean, this says 8 years ago, but it's actually I think produced from a long time ago. And just I took a screenshot because it shows us here, like you all have probably heard of things like golden age, silver, bronze, iron, and we're like roughly about here. We have been, this is 12,500 years of kind of getting less conscious and more darker and more yeah, just not as conscious. And I hate to use the word evil, but just yeah, like diminishing in our consciousness. So now you can see we've hit the 6 o'clock mark and we're starting to make our way back up in the next 12,500 years to be more enlightened. And so that's a fascinating Sri Yukteswar. I know we have Shilpa here, who's a longtime Yogananda devotee, and I think that was his master, wasn't it? It was his guru. But anyway, so that's just one little source. It has nothing to do with human design per se, but it's related because it talks about cycles. And so now this, I know there's a lot of writing on the screen, and so I'm not going to leave this up for too long, but this is what's called the Global Consciousness Program, Global Cycles. And you can see dating clear back to 16,513 BC. But what I want to draw your attention to, and I'll highlight it more in the next slide. But if I go like this with my wee arrow down here and go, we are here, 1615 to 2026, we are currently in what's called the cross of planning. And we have been for 400 years up until 2026. Then, this is why we're undergoing so much change. It'll make sense in the next couple of slides. Come 2027, we start a new 411-year cycle, 2027 to 2438, and it's called the Sleeping Phoenix, except it won't be sleeping anymore. It's going to wake up. And life is going to be pretty different in many, many ways and pretty darn cool. Pretty good. What's happening, and this is in lay terms. Anybody, I know there's some folks here that are pretty advanced with their human design, and I'm making this as simple as possible in my languaging. And sometimes it does feel like time is speeding up, Adair and I. People talk about timeline jumping. I don't know enough about that to explain it, but what's happening with the planetary cycles, we're moving from an age that's deeply tribal to an age come 2027, but it's not all of a sudden like it's February 15, 2027. It's not like all of a sudden come that day, like the entire world flip a switch and like, boom, it's all radically different. What's happening is we're in the final 2 years of this 411-year cycle. So we're obviously feeling it. Things are speeding up. So that cross of planning that I mentioned there, 1615 to 2027, here's the keynotes for that: tribal bargains, infrastructure, institutions, support systems, security for the well-being of family and community. That is breaking down. Ouch! As painful as it is, at the same time, it's the most exciting time to be alive. If we can get out of fear, that's the thing. There's a massive frequency in the world of fear. And then there's those dark forces that play on that fear. And you have to be really strong to not allow yourself to get sucked into that fear. And that's what can often happen if we consume a lot of, mainstream news and social media and fake news and all the things. So here's where we're headed. 2027, as I say, it's February 15 is the kind of the pinnacle date. But we're already feeling it now across of the sleeping feelings. I put sleeping in parentheses because she's going to wake up. She or he will wake up in 2027. What the frequency is, or the energetic theme, we're going to be more individually empowered. The rise of radical individualism. We're all going to be busy doing our own thing. I also call it the empowered entrepreneur. And here's how we can see a lot of that already. The gig economy, right? Look at Uber and Lyft and Airbnb in the last 10, 20 years. People with side hustles, passion projects. Look at, I'm calling them the older Gen Z and younger millennials. So people in their 20s and 30s, they're not everybody, but you're seeing a little bit of a trend. I know people like my nephews and nieces in my family not going to college. They're not marrying. They're in long-term relationships. They're not marrying because marrying is part of like the tribe and having bargains, a lot of couples are choosing not to have children. But we're also seeing I know many people with young kids saving up money and starting businesses at a very young age. I think that's awesome. I love that. And what I'm also seeing and hearing in the human design communities is that community, even though community is kind of a keynote of what we're kind of leaving behind, at the same time, even though we're like individually empowered, leading into like small local communities. And I'm hearing and seeing people talking about like if you're in a position to be able to grow your own food or have any kind of wonderful shared community activities, so that we're not so caught up in just being so focused on our own individual stuff. I love that, Sheila. She's saying affinity groups. Yeah, affinity groups. I like that a lot. Yeah, Gloria saying that makes sense. I hear so many people talking about 2027. Yeah, Lee Harris and Pam Gregory. I love those two. In fact, I think I have a Pam on one of my slides coming up. Now, what we're moving from fear to innocence. So these are like smaller cycles. You know how we have like the big cycles at 25,000 years, and then you've got the smaller cycles, 12,000, you get 400s and so on and so forth. And you can see what happened in they call it the background frequency. Those of you that know human design, it pertains to color, which is the color of the neutrino stream frequency. From 2016 to 2027, there is this background frequency of fear. I mentioned it earlier about this conditioning field where it's very easy. Holy crap. Did anybody here have a bumpy ride and still having a bumpy ride with your stock portfolio? I just had to stop looking for a little bit, put some stops in, but then like, oofed. It's like, wow, okay, don't get caught in fear, Mari. Starting in 2027, that shifts to innocence, a very different frequency, a different vibration altogether. And what my main teacher, I had her up there before, my horse lady, by the way, she's a molecular geneticist, PhD out of Austria, Vienna. She talks about how it's very, quote, easy to manipulate the masses so long as fear is the background frequency. That is why apparently they, the great they, tried to have a global pandemic years ago, long, long time ago. But it wasn't until we shifted into this fear frequency that, you know, they were able to quote unquote successfully have the global shutdowns and whatever. So, but none of that will be possible come 2027. They won't be able to manipulate the masses when the fear isn't in there. And this is what, again, my teacher, Andrea, she just, oh, she's so amazing. She talks about this the first time in the history of the planet that we're not only having this new cycle of that sleeping phoenix, the rise of the empowered individual and entrepreneur, and busy doing your own thing, but also leaning into, I love what Sheila said about affinity groups. And at the same time of this new planetary cycle, there is a mutation of human beings happened. Now, of course, we've mutated over the years. What about when the larynx dropped and gave us speech, right? Or the part of the brain, isn't we have like the reptilian brain and like our brains evolved, right? The brains that we have today are not the brains that started out when humans were first evolved from wherever they evolved from. Who knows? Planet of the Apes, right? uh, so what's happening, and this is really awesome. There's a new type of evolutionary human that will be born starting in 2027 onwards. They're called rave. If ever you hear or see the term rave pertaining to human design, when Ra received the transmission of this information, you'll see the word rave. That was the word that the voice, it was a voice, the voice of planet Earth gave him to explain what is coming in 2027. They're called raves. Rave children will be born with a higher consciousness. They're a very, very different being, and they potentially probably function best in small groups. And they're very telepathic. They're very spiritually oriented. They're more potentially more emotionally aware. Now, watch this. How many of you have seen or watched or heard of the telepathy tapes? Are you tuned into the telepathy tapes? I haven't yet. I've seen little clips of it yet, but I know what it's about. These autists, right? People on the spectrum, people with autism. These people are brilliant. They are, in essence, a midway bridge between current Homo sapiens and raves. And we're going to get off this topic in a moment. I'll switch gears and talk about marketing tips for human design. So we someone just mentioned Pam Gregory a minute ago. Whoever that was, it was Gloria. So, and I've linked you up to this video. I'm going to go back and watch it again. I watched the whole thing the other day there, and I have to watch it again. It's astounding. Pam Gregory is a British astrologer, one of the most revered, beloved voices in the world, whether you're into astrology or not. Whoopsies. Oh, I see. I just clicked on it. Let's get rid of my draw tool. So Pam Gregory interviewed Veda Austin, who is an expert with water. How many of you remember Dr. Masaru Emoto? Remember the messages in water? And he would show you the molecules if you just said the word love to water, or hate or anger. Or didn't they have like even meditation groups around like a murky body of water, and they could, through the transmission of thought, you can literally affect water. At one point, they'd talk about how water is a sentient being. Well, in this interview, they talk about the telepathy tapes and these autists and water, and just, oh, it's phenomenal. It's mind-blowing conversation. So I've got that there for you. I just feel that it's very, very relevant to what's happening in here. So yeah. Yes, Susan, thank you. Susan saying telepathy tapes and the work of Veda Austin are absolutely mind-blowing. If you don't already, folks, you might like to follow Veda on Instagram. She's very active on Instagram, Veda Austin. And I think she's on tour right now. She's maybe going to be doing some talks around the country on her water work. So anyway, that's enough for that concept. It's just amazing. Yeah, absolutely. I'll include the YouTube links and I'll give you these slides too, friends. So yeah. Sheila says we were tuning water back in the 90s. Exactly, right? So much of this is like, it's not new, but I guess it's new to some people. So fascinating stuff. All right, so let's do this. Actually, I'm going to hit escape on that for a second. So just to see where I'm at with my time, because I'm going to talk about the 4 types. We're going to look at an overview of inner authorities, how you're aligned to make decision making. And then some of those I'm just going to kind of skim over. We've got tips for marketing yourself authentically. I think, yeah, so some really good stuff coming up. And then I do have this prize drawing. I am going to give away a human design reading from me to one attendee today. So we're going to get to all of that. I think what I'm going to do first, come back to here. I'm going to just talk to you briefly about the documentary in case anybody has to jump off. I'm going to pop this right here. It's zero obligation. I just simply want to draw it to your attention because this incredible manifester, powerful, impactful manifester has initiated this documentary. Now, what the heck is 4%? Well, Ra said, the founder of the system, human design is really only for 4% of the world. Now, oof, I can feel that behind my sternum. Almost makes me want to cry. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. I just got to talk to you one on one. Yeah, because sometimes the world, people in the world get conditioned and stuck. And it's almost like, you know, how they call it the comfort zone. Sometimes I always think the comfort zone is more like the known zone. You stick to what you know. And it's too scary to change. It's too scary to wake up and face yourself and look in the mirror and realize, wow, I could take back control of my life. I could make my own decisions. I could actually say no to that person in a kind and nice way. I could like realize my dreams and my potential or whatever it might be, right? So the movie is going to be an incredible documentary, and it's basically an interview with all the original teachers. And what is on the cards to invite you to, if you want, if it's correct for you, is to contribute to the, you know, every dollar or euro, it makes a difference. And you can see how close Celine is. She is so close. So it's 35,000 euros, 39,716 dollars. Oh my gosh, so close. They're going to make it. I keep telling her she's going to do it. So it's 28 days. What is that? 97% funded. So the rewards are amazing. The rewards are so cool. You can skim down and see them. You could just, you know, literally pledge a dollar. Oh, €1, €1, $2, whatever you want. But then some of the great ones, you can see I've already pledged at the $500 level because I want the recordings. It's 20 hours of lecture recordings of all of these original teachers. But you can, there's like 25 euros, you know, or one of the workshops or individual recordings. There's Richard Bohm. I love him. He's the one that did my original readings in early 2021. I had 3 different readings with him, and I just love him. He's amazing. He's head of Human Design UK. Yeah. And then Martin, I've taken classes with him. He really knows biology. He actually helped to map human design to the body and biology. Ilse, she's out of Germany. Amazing, taking classes with her. And there's Dr. Andrea, my favorite teacher, the most in-depth. So lots of different opportunities here. So have a feel into whatever speaks to you. If you are in a place to contribute even a little, really make all the difference. And I sure appreciate it. And I'm very honored to be part of the team that's just really helping to get the word out. Hey, Lisa, Lisa's here. She's one of my study buddies, Lisa Sparhawk. And she is a rare being as a reflector. Jess, and I totally agree with you, Jess. And they've also, oh, I should point that out. Thanks, Jess, love. I'm going to go like this. And you can see, friends, if you want to learn a bit more and get some more free human design content on the page, the 4%.me, down at the bottom, you can just click over to the YouTube channel and you'll see that there was actually 3 different lives. There were 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and then just 2 days ago on Sunday we met. And I don't know about you, Jess, but that one was my favorite. It's almost like they kept getting better and better. But Sundays was just brilliant. You can see I'm going back through it. I'm watching it again because it was just so powerful, and you guys can take advantage of that and have a peek in there. So yeah. Yeah, right. Okay, so let's carry on with our topics here. And like I say, if it speaks to you, we can circle back to that. Any questions about it? As I say, Jess Tilley here is on the same team as I am. We're helping Celine Parman, the amazing manifester, really get the word out. Oh, Janet, yeah, I can pop that right in again. Of course, this is it right here. This is the link to the website, and then this is the link to the crowdfunder, and it'd be so cool. I told Selena I was going to be doing this training, and I know not everybody could show up live, but we had a lot of interest. My goodness, like I say, over 300 people registered, so we'll make sure they get the replay. But and just to really point out, by the way, as a lot of crowdfunding campaigns are, it's what they call all or nothing. So they have until April 17, which is 2 days from now at almost exactly to the minute. Look at that. Yeah, 6 minutes ago. No, 151 in 3 minutes. In 3 minutes, it will be exactly 48 hours. 48 hours from now, if they don't reach the full goal, everyone doesn't make the pledge. And but I'm sure they will. I mean, they're so close. Of course, they're going to make it. It's only $1,000. Wow, that's awesome. But Jess, didn't Selene talk this morning about they're going to have a stretch goal? I think there's a stretch goal to get to 54,000. And it's just phenomenal. What a beautiful, oh, wait a minute, stop the presses. What am I saying and doing here? I need to show you guys the trailer. That's what I wanted to do. We were going to watch the trailer together. 47 hours. Thanks, Barry. Okay, let's watch the trailer together. This is unbelievable. It's so cool. All right, let me do this. I think I'm still sharing sound, but just in case, I'm going to double check because Miss Third Line does make mistakes. Okay, share sound. Yeah, let's watch the trailer together. It's only 2.5 minutes, so it's just profound. I'm going to play this and sit back and watch. Sit back or lean in. Lean in and watch the incredible trailer of this upcoming movie. Here we go.
We know very little about why things change. We know very little about why civilization rises and falls, why the world suddenly changes at any given moment. One of the most fascinating areas of the knowledge is global cycles.
This current global cycle we're in, it's called the cross of planning.
So all of us for the past 400 years, starting in 1615, we developed a society or norms that established interdependency.
We are always programmed, where we have receptors in our openness, to act according to this program, to this frequency.
There's a kind of field awareness, and so there's something in the field. It's more the collective.
It's a very logical, collective, tribal thing that's been holding us all together, and you can just watch it breaking down.
And in 2020, it all suddenly stood still.
We're shifting from tribal support systems to individual nature.
We will be in a time where 3/4 of the activation is going to be individual.
There's no authority but your own, and it doesn't extend outside of you.
Human design is the science of differentiation.
The statistics really prove that it's really working.
We have a great mutation that's taking place that's rooted in our emotional system.
We're under pressure to evolve to the maximum we can before it changes.
It's a new beginning.
I tell you, that's the umpteenth time I've watched that, and every time I do, it just like brings me to tears. It's a new beginning. It's a new beginning. There's no need to be afraid. No need to be afraid. It is one of the most powerful, powerful moments to be alive, and everybody incarnated in the planet right now is totally here purposefully, intentionally, as part of this great evolution and great, evolving and steps to the next version of ourselves. So it's a new beginning. Yeah. And that for the male voice you were hearing is the voice of Ra, the founder. And at one moment, the young gentleman that said, we're shifting from the tribal to the individual, that's actually Ra's son, Loki, one of the children. So yeah, whoo, yeah. I need a moment because that's just it's a beautiful beginning. Thank you, Sydney. Yeah, it's just a really potent movie. And what better medium than a movie or a film or a documentary to reach more people? Because it's like, if it's only for 4% of the people, that's still a few 100 million, isn't it? And we need to reach more people in the next couple of years, because people need this knowledge, and to be able to wake up and realize how brilliant they are and live their true selves, not their not selves. All right, human design, the 4 types. Some of you might be familiar with this, but there's 2 energy types. They're called energy types. Those are the generator and manifesting generator. If you ever see information out there that says there's 5 types, I've seen some people say there's 5, because what they're doing is they're counting a generator and manifesting generator as 2 different types. But really there are 4, because the generator and manifesting generator always have that sacral, the red colored in defined sacral center. Then the manifester has what's called a motor center. Now, non-energy, if you're seeing this and going, wait a minute, I'm a projector, or I'm a reflector. Non-energy, everybody has energy. It's whether it's like always on. Remember the circuit board, right? So the circuit board, these types have access to energy like 24/7 practically. And the projectors and reflectors just need to manage their energy a bit more. They can get very conditioned, very programmed to be always go, 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 hustle, come on, sleep's for losers. You can sleep tomorrow. Oh God, I can't stand those things. The 9 energy centers, you can see them. We've got the head, of course, and it's not called the mind, it's called the ajna. It's where we conceptualize and have ideas and opinions and insights. Throat is where we speak and manifest and take action. We speak things into existence. G, the yellow diamond behind the sternum there, on the sternum, is love, direction, and identity. I spoke to that briefly earlier. The heart is actually the seat of your ego, your willpower, having a strong sense of self-worth, or courage, or not. Solar plexus is the seat of emotional intelligence. Root is where you have adrenaline and stress and pressure. Sacral is that generative life force. And then the splenic or spleen center is your well-being, instinct, intuition. So these are just showing us where the different types. So you can see, I mentioned earlier about 2/3 of the world. You've got about 36% generators and another 30. So those 2 together, that's 2/3 of the world. Generative, busy, 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 worker bees, getting stuff done. Manifestors, just under 10%. They're here to initiate. Generators here to respond. I've got that coming up in the slide. Projectors, we've got several projectors here today, just under 23%. Another word for projector is an advisor. In the business world, it's called an advisor. You're here to guide the energy of the generator types. And then our reflectors, and I know we have a couple here, at least one, Lisa, my good friend Lisa, but 1.5%. And I've got 2 nephews in my family who are reflectors. And they are just really amazing beings who can really reflect what's going on around them in the world. Reflectors are powerful beings to have in a meeting. There are some boardrooms in corporations that will bring a reflector in to sit there in the room and can really reflect back, like who's telling the truth and who's holding on to something and who's who can be trusted and who cannot. It's quite powerful. All right, so just real quick with the types. We've got the manifestors, which is about 10%. And this is who Selene is. Selene, the producer and creator of the 4% documentary, and really here to understand their impact. Powerful beings, probably very, very misunderstood. I have 4 sisters, and one is a projector, one's a manifesting generator. I'm the generator, and the youngest is a manifester. And I have one adopted sister. I don't think I've ran her charts. I don't have her exact time of birth, but anyway, the manifester, the youngest manifester, oof, she is a force. So their strategy is to inform before taking action. Now, if you happen to have a child who's a manifestor type, in the business language, we call it an initiator, it's really important to encourage them to ask permission. They're not always going to let you know, hey, mom, dad, I'm going to go out now. I need to go out and play with little Johnny or whatever. Is just ask permission. Hey, is it okay if I go out? And yeah, okay. Then, they'll be able to find peace and avoid anger, as it's called. They have what's called a closed and repelling aura. I'm just going to tell you the aura types. And some of us, it's going to go a little fast, but as I say, I want to be able to share also what I have coming up on a slide about marketing. Gloria saying your children, because you're I saw you're an MG, yeah. So you're manifesting generator. Your children are both projectors, yeah, yeah. So really important for them to go to bed before they're really tired and not get so pooped out that they're burning themselves out, which a lot of manifestors, projectors can do. Just a couple examples I threw in, well, one for each type. Jennifer Aniston, the actress, is a manifester because we can see this is the heart center, heart, willpower, courage, ego, and it's connected up here through the channel of what's called initiation, here to shock and initiate people into new experiences. And then it's also connected to her splenic center. And of course, it goes up to her throat, because that's what makes a manifester, is energy going from through a channel, through a lit up channel, either through any one of the four, well, excuse me, not manifestor, not the sacral, because then they would be generator type, right? Generator, manifesting generator, but either through the root, the solar plexus, or the heart center up to the throat. That makes you a manifester. Powerful beings. Now, generator, manifesting generator, 66% of the world. Guess what? We are here to know ourselves. You know that? Was it Descartes said, know thyself? He was maybe a generator. Yeah. Here to know ourselves. So 2/3 of the world. Our strategy is to respond with the gut, with the sacral, with the sacral. And then through response, seeing if you have that energy rising up the body. Do you have the available energy to say yes to this opportunity, this situation, this invitation, this work, or whatever it might be, relationship? And your key, your signpost that you're living life according to your design and using up your life force correctly is you feel deeply satisfied. The goal with all the generators and manifesting generators on the planet, your goal is to go to sleep, hit that pillow, feeling quite exhausted, used up, with that sense of satisfaction. Now, speaking of going to bed, generators, burn your battery right down. I always think of, like, you've got this battery and you regenerate through the night, right? So you've got this full battery when you wake up, and shoo, you use up your life force doing things you love, you're passionate about. Could be activity, whatever it's a hobby, or you're just tootling around the house, whatever it is, but you're using up your energy doing things you love. And so you kind of deplete your energy and flop into bed happily exhausted. If you're a manifesting generator, you can hop into bed maybe just at 10% battery and just burn off the rest of it, watching TV or doing something on your iPad or reading a book or whatever. So those are just some ideas for you there on how to correctly attune to your body. The signpost that you're off track, that you've made a mental decision, or that you have, you've said yes from your head because you don't want to upset somebody, or you can feel your gut kind of contracting a little bit, but you've gone ahead and said yes anyway, and like, so frustrated. Stop. Signpost to stop. Take a breath, go outside, change your state, hug a tree, plant your feet in the grass, bare feet. Do something to change your state, because your body's telling you, the way you're using your life force right now is not right, not correct. It's not healthy for you. And we have these open and enveloping auras, like a giant bear hug. And then that's the generator, manifesting generator. Now, Tony Robbins, I've got him here. Yeah, what a powerful dude. He's got this about making progress and change, family and community. This in the business called the strength of interaction. It's called mating. It's about making babies. But it's about creating more in the world. We all say babies are business. Sensitive being. And then this one's one of my favorites. It's called exploration, a design of following one's convictions. And if you know a little bit about Tony's story, my gosh, in his early days, was it Jim Rohn that was his mentor? And he just followed his convictions. And, whether you like him or not, that's just, that's who he is. So that's his chart there, with his energy going from the solar plexus and the heart center and the sacral, 3 motors. Oh, excuse me. And the root. Wow. 4 motors up to his throat. Yeah, that is a powerhouse being. Amazing. And I've linked you up. There's a YouTube here. A couple of years ago, we actually studied him in one of my classes. And so that's a link to one of my teachers from before, Lavina Archers. We did a really cool little deep dive on Tony's chart. Now then, my projectors of the world, hey, you're here to understand the other. So one of the things that you might do is run the charts of, spouse, significant other, partner, children, clients, if you can, people in your world, and just start to focus on what makes them tick, who they are. And before you kind of go too deep down the rabbit hole of your own chart, potentially, just, something to do there. About 22% of the world. Now, this is a really interesting one for anybody who's dabbled a little bit with human design. You might have heard, well, I'm a projector type. I need to wait for the invitation. What the heck does that mean? Like the generator and manifesting generator types, we were talking about how they respond, they wait to respond, and there's always things to respond to with the circle, anything. It's a beautiful sunny day, a sound, something in your Facebook feed. There's always something to respond to. But with the projectors, like, what does that mean, invitation? It's actually the full component of it is mutual recognition. So somebody sees you and you see them. There's a mutual recognition going on. And then my teacher, Lavina, will always say there's a formal invitation. The challenge is what's happening is us projectors, generators, and reflectors of the world, anybody who's not a manifester is going around trying to initiate and push the rock up the hill or push against the stream and to make things happen. If you find yourself in that situation, it's like, wow, one of the coolest things you can do for the health of your body and your mind is to let go and relax and surrender and let life come to you. Let the invitations come to you. And in a moment, when I get to the marketing section, one of the things for projectors, being that they're here to focus on the other, is to really do your marketing with success stories, testimonials, case studies, before and afters, any way that you can put the spotlight on the success that you help to create for others. And in that way, you get your success. The signpost that you're off is you have this bitterness, you being the projector types. Sometimes that can literally be like a metallic or bitter taste in the mouth. Whereas, and I hear some projectors say, yeah, that literally I can feel it on my tongue when I'm off course. Versus what we say, like the sweet success, the taste or smell of the sweet success. And the aura you can see from this artist rendition here is like very focused and absorbing, very penetrating into the G center of others, the generators of the world, and do really well in one-on-one situations. And my neighbors, I have this wonderful neighbors. Oh my God, they're like my mom and dad. He's 86 and I think she's 77, and I had run their charts. We had a great conversation on Sunday, and they're just fascinating. They were asking me all of these cool questions, and he's a manifesting generator and she's a projector. So that was fun. One of my favorite humans, God bless her soul, rest her soul, projector, Princess Diana, one of the most misunderstood people. There she has the channel of logic. So this is a very logical mind, but it's split off here from her family. This is called a community, a design of a part seeking a whole. So she was so just wanted to be part of the family, but goodness gracious, poor girl got, pulled into that wacky royal family. And yeah, lovely lady, and she's very misunderstood. And projector. So that doesn't mean, by the way, let me back up for a second. That doesn't mean she was misunderstood because she was a projector. She just, she was pulled into, I guess it was her life path. I really do believe that her life path was, she was supposed to birth those two humans, William and Harry. All right, my lovely reflectors of the world. Check my comments here. Yeah, generated market. I'm going to come to that in just a quick second. Alexandra, lovely to see you. Jim Rohn was everyone's mentor back then. You're right. You're right. So reflectors are here to see difference. They're just 1% of the world. Actually, a lot less than, I think it's 1.5%. And their strategy, they have very lunar. They're lunar. We're all solar beings. The first three types are solar. The reflectors are what's called lunar beings. And they wait a full cycle of the moon before making major decisions. That's not simple. It's major, like if you're going to move or who to marry or where to work or, yeah, the major decisions in life, to take a trip or something. And their keynote or signature is finding surprise and delight and then avoiding disappointment. They have this very resistant kind of and sampling kind of aura. And no centers lit up. They have they're all not colored in, so they can be very fluid, I guess is a way to think of it. Sandra Bullock is a reflector actress. So you can see there, that's the chart. So definitely still have the black and the red conscious and unconscious activations. It's just that none of them make the full channel, so it doesn't light up any of the energy centers. No fixed way of necessarily being in the world except for the hanging, we call them hanging gates. People with open throats can actually make very good singers, and then people with open G centers could potentially make great actors and actresses because they're kind of like a chameleon, whether you're a reflector or any type. I know one of my dear friends and clients, she's a generator and she's a former actress turned speaker and leader. And she's like, people always try to typecast me. And I'm like, you know what? You're not here to be typecast. You're here to wear many hats. So to know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. That's for the generators. Let's take a peek now at your authorities. And this one I'm going to fly through. I'm going to go just the 3, and then because I want to get to the marketing. And I had allowed 90 minutes for this, so I hope you guys are doing okay for time. And I will definitely send you the slides and the replay. Hey, let's take a quick peek to see how our campaign's doing. Okay, yeah, no, jump in if you can. We're almost there. I don't know if that had gone up or not, but yeah, we've got until Thursday, 30, what did we say? 47 hours to go. 7 different inner authorities. Each of us has a different one, and it's really the key to aligned decision making. And it's going to segue beautifully to your marketing, because I'm going to talk to you and share with you about how this has probably been one of my biggest factors that's changed how I do my business. Because if I don't have the energetic response from my sacral, and like I get invited to do things all the time, right? Speaking engagement, podcast interview, you name it, joint ventures, all kinds of things. And in the past, I'd be up in my head going, oh my God, I can make so much money, or oh, so-and-so is going to be there, la, 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 the stuff that the mind goes on and on and on about. But I'd be like flat. I could just feel this contracting of my energy and going, now after several years of experimenting and practicing, I can see my body is saying, this is not a good use of your life force. So I'm able to just be true to myself and just inform or let the person know it's not a match, or it's not now, or ask me again another time. So the authorities, there's 7 different ones. I'm going to spend most of the time explaining this little segment on the first 3, because the solar plexus is the most common, with almost half, at 47% of you are emotional decision makers, taking your time with decisions. And about 35% are the sacral, like me. And then just under 11% are splenic. And then the rest, I just have slides for them. I won't go too deep into them. So what happens with knowing, one of the most critical parts of the human design system in the beginning stages, you can discover this voice of truth within you that was hidden because of conditioning. You can get in touch with the part of you that always knew what was correct and what wasn't. We all have spidey senses. We all have intuition. We all have gut feelings, but then the mind comes in, right? I call it the monkey mind, or in the human design, we call it the not self. The mind comes in and it casts all these doubts or fear, or sometimes fear is healthy if you're in danger or whatever, but it's looping. You can catch the thoughts that are not self, or the ones that loop around and around and around, and they just drive you a bit crazy. Thank you, Adair. Appreciate it. So the solar plexus, this is 47, what did I say? Oh, close to half, 47%. When you have, so if you've run your chart and you have, it could be any other centers activated. Obviously, you need 2 for it to be lit up, but whatever other centers are lit up, if your solar plexus is colored in, then that is always your authority. Is how you're designed to make a decision. It's called emotional authority. You need to wait for clarity. Guess what? So in marketing, how many of you recognize how much pressure there is? Sign up now, midnight tonight, come on, make a decision. Or like getting on a sales call. Somebody's pushing you. Go talk to your wife. Could you possibly get your wife in here right now? Or could you get your husband in here, your partner, whoever is another key decision maker in the house, and they'll check with you. Are you the main decision maker of your household? Good, right? Because they're going to push you and squeeze you to make a decision. Another example is you go to any conferences where people get on the stage and they're trying to get you to run to the back of the room and make a buying decision. Come on, right? Only for the first 10 people. Go, quick, make a decision, fast. Well, guess what? If you're an emotional decision maker, you are not here to make fast, spontaneous, quick decisions. Important. Again, these are important decisions, not what you're going to have for breakfast or lunch or, simple things like that. What you're going to wear today, right? The big decisions in life. So, the motto for you is there's no truth in the now. Truth reveals itself over time. Because, watch this, you simply have energy. You know how emotion is like energy in motion? You got waves of emotion going through your body. Whoops, my cursor went wonky. Going through your body at any given moment. So somebody says to you, I like to use the example of, somebody invites you for a trip to Las Vegas. And let's say these are waves, and you're way up here in your high wave. You're like, hey, you want to go to Las Vegas this weekend? Yeah, you right away. Sure, absolutely. Let's go for it. Later that day, could be that day, evening, morning, night. It's not mapping to specific days or times, but you're kind of like, oh my God, what was I thinking? I don't even like Vegas. It's so noisy. There's all the gambling. People smoke. It's busy. It's hot. Oh, it's not for me. And then later you're like, well, maybe I can't let them down. I got to say yes. We need to say yes. And you go through these. Yes, no, maybe, not sure. And then let's say you wait 24 hours, good 24. That's really your ideal recommendation. Get in the habit of saying to people, those of you with solar plexus authority, can I get back to you? When do you need to know by? I'm going to need some time. Can I sleep on this? Then you've given yourself that little bit of time for these important decisions, and your truth will reveal itself over time. It's like putting your toe in the water. Okay, can anybody relate to that? Sheila, yeah, let me think about that. Yeah, and Gloria is saying buyer's remorse. That's a really good point. Because they've said, don't they all marketers say that for decades, that people buy for emotional reasons and then justify, whatever it is, we justify with mental reasons. I forget the exact thing, but yeah. Barry's saying, I know this one well, learning to wait rather than jump in. Yeah. Sue's saying, mine's full and I completely get this. Mario Lane, recognition. Yeah. Yeah, no worries. So that's really important for all of you. Take your sweet time. Don't let people pressure you into making fast, spontaneous decisions until you feel that clarity emerging. And there's a pureness to it. There's a pureness. You'll recognize thoughts, not self-thoughts, because they loop. This is for anybody, for all of us, every human on the planet. When we're in our mind trying to justify something, talk ourselves into or out of something in the not self, it goes looping. It's like just a chitter chatter of a bunch of monkeys. I say to mine, oh, just here, have a banana, be quiet in there. All right, sacral authority. If you have your sacral or sacrals colored in, it'll show up red, then you're definitely a generator type. You could be a generator or a manifesting generator, but you don't have the solar plexus. See, there's kind of a hierarchy here. If the solar plexus is not colored in, defined, then your authority is the sacral. Some people say it's one of the easiest. I know for me, because mine is unconscious, right? This is red here, and it's cut off. And that's why when I had my first, well, it was really my second reading, but it was the most in-depth reading in 2021. And I said to Richard Bowman, head of Human Design UK, I sought him out to do my reading. And he's teaching me how, okay, this is your authority. I'm like, oh my God, my body has wisdom. My body can make decisions. So you need to listen to your yes, no, or I don't know. So one of the key things, and this is great for any of you that have children, that you can get in the habit of asking them yes, no questions. Yes, no. Especially now, this is actually true for all generator types. So for all the 66% that have this colored in, even if the solar plexus is the emotional authority here as the inner authority, you could still ask yes, no questions. But then for the big decisions, you know, take your time. But the initial response of the gut is what makes the difference. And for depending on your type, it could be like, hey, would you like to go to lunch tomorrow? We say, hey, would you like to go to the movies? Sure. But see how the first one was a hesitation? That's the first response. That's actually, oh, you know what? Not now, not today, maybe next week. Could you ask me again another way? Would you like to go to the movies? Do you want to go to the movies? Do you need to go? You know, there's all kinds of ways. And if you can get into the habit of having people around you ask you yes, no questions and listen to the first response, inarticulate, it's usually a non-word sound. Answers coming from the gut without hesitation. Your body knows, your body has that wisdom. And if there is that hesitation, then it's usually no, or I don't know, or not now. Now, there's also an energetic frequency that goes really for all, again, for all generator types. I know for me, I feel it like an expanding energy. I can feel my cells kind of opening up, my chest expands, my shoulders go back. I can feel sometimes even tears will come to my eyes. It's like a rising up and expanding of the energy, almost like a magnetic pull, like the thing I'm responding to. Invitation to be on a podcast, you know, go to a networking meeting, speak at an event, whatever, that my body's responding to it versus conversely for a no, I can feel my cells contracting. It's like I kind of get smaller and my shoulders are rounded. It's like I can feel a tightness in my vital organs going like, there's no energy. I feel flat, a flatlined, that's a no. And I've come to just respect that about my body's wisdom, and it's just so much more satisfying to kind of go through life that way. That's funny, Jess. All right, the third most popular, although this is, I'm saying most popular, was really only about 10 or 11%. So for any of you that you don't have the solar plexus filled in or defined, and you don't have the sacral defined or filled in, but you do have the splenic center, spleen, health, well-being, intuition, instinct, that is your authority. And so it's you need to listen to the inner voice, the intuition, and act on it, no matter the consequences. It could be a knowing, a sixth sense. It's going to be a sound, a smell, a taste. It could be just prickling the back of your neck, salivating a little bit, goosebumps, tingles. And your motto is the truth is only in the now. This intuitive, instinctive voice never repeats itself. It speaks very softly. You only get one opportunity to act on it. So anybody here, is there anybody, let me know in the chat if anybody is, you know for sure that your authority is the splenic if you've run your chart. Because this is actually, my teachers tell me this is one of the least followed, because what will happen, say you're driving along the road, all of a sudden you get this spidey sense to go left. What do you mean go left? I always go right. And the mind kicks in fast, these thoughts. Do. We can't go left. We always go right. What the hell? I'm not going to go left. And then all of a sudden, you know, something totally different happens if you had trusted that inner voice, that intuition. It's powerful. I know several people that have splenic. Wow, Christine, you're a splenic projector. Nice. Curious splenic. Alexandra. Jess, it's not your authority, but you have it defined. Yeah, high intuition. And Joan Marie, oh, I love it. Yeah, so important. Be in the moment. Trust your body's felt sensations. I call them spidey senses, right? Like Spider-Man. So that's a powerful one. Yeah, but like I say, least followed, because just be mindful of when the mind kicks in and tries to talk you into other things. All right, I better boogie. I'm just going to skip through the next few slides. If these are your authorities, I apologize. Maybe we can talk about them again another time. Oh, I put this slide in here for any of you splenic authority people. When you don't know how you know, but you know, and you know you knew, and that's all you need to know. That's like a little motto for intuitive splenic decision makers. So ego, like I say, just fly through that. That would be for some folks with the ego defined and not the others, right? Because it's like you might have that defined, but if you've got solar plexus, then that's the authority. So it's like a hierarchy. And then you've got the G is our self-projected projectors. I think we had some here. I'm just, like I say, just mindful of the time. So I will give you the slides, and there's more to follow. So we can go deeper another time, specifically individually with folks that have these as their authority. This is my mother's, actually. She is a self-projected authority. She does what makes her happy. The environment authority, they have a sounding board, people around them to a group of, I call them advisors, but they're not to advise them what to do. It's just really so you can hear yourself saying out loud, and you make your decision that way. Listen to what you say. And then our reflectors are called lunar authorities. Okay, whoops, rush. Sorry, I don't mean to go so fast, but I want to get to the marketing piece in our last few minutes here. Mind versus true authority. You know it's your mind versus true authority. I mentioned this a couple of times because the key is when the mind is looping. You get those looping over and over and over thoughts. For all the different authority types, they're typically very pure and clean. Maybe, the not self, the mind is maybe like a nagging. It's making you feel uncomfortable. That's not your authority. Your inner authority, whichever of the 7 types it is, it's pure and clean. It's your body moving you. For most of us that have that kind of body type of authority, is the vast majority of the world. You follow and trust your body's wisdom. Now, and then there's where I was going to talk about the movie, but I talked about it earlier. So if you get a chance to kick in to the Kickstarter, that'd be amazing. I know that at some point we are going to hit that goal. We definitely will get there. Good. Oh, I see it's popped up a little bit. Cool. So close. Yes. Yes. Getting closer. I love it. Thank you so much. Oh, and I do have this here. If anybody feels like getting a reading, and then I'm going to go into the marketing part. I popped this in a little bit early too. I've got an invitation for you that's very, very basic. It's the most simple page that I've put together in a while, but I'm an experimenter. I learn a lot by experimenting. I'm a 1-3 who just learns by experimenting, trial and error. So I've got, you can get a personalized human design video reading, and then I'm also offering a 10-week group coaching program if you want to go deeper in this, specifically how to apply it to your business, your marketing, your finance, all of that good stuff. So take a peek at that and you can see if that's for you. And then we'll finish up here with marketing yourself authentically and only attracting or working with clients that light you up. So always be true to yourself is my first tip. And I mentioned that about myself. In the past, I would just be so overcommitted, so burned out, really creating a lot of stress in my body because I was just saying yes to everything years ago in, kind of in a different part of my career. So there's an incredible amount of conditioning in the world that we have to compete and compare and keep up. And a lot of that comes from having that open heart center. Hang on, I'm going to pause the screen. I don't even have my charts up. Let me get my charts up for a second here. I have so many softwares. I use like 3 different softwares for the charts. Make sure I don't have anybody else's chart up. Okay, there you go. So resume. So this is a live chart here. Well, not live, but the software's live. Each of these white centers has a not self aspect of it. So 65% of the world has a open heart center, and the not self shows up in the white areas. So this is trying to prove yourself, not feeling worthy, not charging enough money, competing, comparing. And over time, as you come to trust yourself, in my case, trusting my sacral, that you realize, okay, wait a minute, the true self, each of the white centers also has wisdom. There's wisdom there. I have nothing to prove in this lifetime. So that's a wonderful motto for all of you 65% fellow people with the open heart center. You're going to say things like, I can't promise. I'll do my best. But I can't promise. Ooh, that was so freeing, because what happens in the not self, we make promises that we can't keep. So, and just keep like a mantra. You got nothing to prove. You don't have to prove yourself. See, in the past, my mind was like, oh my God, I better put all my glam cam lights on. I have to look good. I have to take time with my makeup. I have to make sure everything's perfect. I have to impress people and make them like me. And I'm like, oh no, what if I just show up and just be myself? It's much more freeing. So, not self is proving yourself. Now, Most important is trusting your inner authority. That's why I put that section before this. So remember, no snap decisions for solar plexus. Also, in marketing, we want to keep in mind that the percentage there was, let me just pull this little guy up, Jovian statistics. And yeah, 47% of the world are not here to make snap decisions. So what I've started to do in my marketing, this is for any type, because you're marketing to your audience, which makes up all different types, right? So you can say, to take your time. If this is correct for you, let me know, or would you like to? With the sacral, given that 66% of the world are these generator types that respond with the gut and respond to yes, no questions, you'll see a lot of my marketing. I started to make my calls to actions and questions instead of saying, click here to sign up, or, click here, download now, register, sign up, whatever. I'll phrase it as a question. Would you like to join? You're invited, I'll say, or you're invited, as I'm speaking to the projectors. You're invited. Would you like to join us? I'll put that in the same call to action because I'm speaking to the projectors and all the generators. I've just covered about 90% of the world. So that's an interesting experiment to try. Like I say, I am an experimenter. And those of you with your splenic authority, of course, just trusting your in the moment spidey sense. Now, another thing that I do is I do what I've called going through my news feed, maybe on Instagram or Facebook, and I will do what I call mindful scrolling. I often do mindless scrolling, like all of us, but I look to see, okay, what am I responding to? What is that? Oh, that looks cool. That's a good idea. Wow, that's a creative way to market yourself. I'm going to see how I can emulate that and make it my own. Conversely, I'm seeing what I don't respond to. Apologies to anybody who's made an action figure of themselves, an AI version of an action figure. I'm the kind of person that if everybody else out there is zigging, I'm going to zag. I am not making an action figure myself because too many other people have already done it, and I don't want to be part of a mass trend. And that's okay. That's me. See, I'm very individual. I'm doing my own thing. Maybe some of you can relate. But yeah, it's just quite fascinating to see how many people are just going bonkers for that. I saw Barry. I thought yours was cute. Some of it, yeah. Thank you, Sue. She's saying, I love you doing your own thing. Yeah, I mean, I even saw, who did I see? I saw Ariana Huffington. I thought, oh God, if Ariana Huffington's now done it. And you're independent too, Alexandra. I love it. Sally says, I agree. You're a zagger. Yay, all us zaggers. And again, no judgment, right? Because it's perfect. Everybody's being themselves. But yeah, so those are some things to just be aware of where, in the early days of reels, when everybody was doing the pointing and the lip syncing and the dancing, and it's like that was the thing. That's what you had to do to be successful with your reels. And I came with that contracting feeling in my gut. I was just like, oh, that's just so not for me. It didn't feel in alignment. So I'm not going to do a marketing strategy that doesn't feel in alignment. Gloria, that's funny. She says, I did it, but I didn't share it. I am tempted. I'm tempted to do one and just not share it. Yeah, Alexandra, you're not a circus monkey. Exactly. So then working with your type. Okay, so remember the manifestors are really the only ones here to initiate, to get things started. And then us generators, we kind of pick up the ball and run with it. So that part where I was saying about, for example, I talk about my friend Jay Schwedelson a lot. He's the founder of subjectline.com. If you're not familiar with it, it's really a great tool to test your email subject lines. You can also follow Jay on LinkedIn. He really only does LinkedIn. He doesn't do Facebook. He just recently started doing Instagram. Let me just pull up LinkedIn. What does he go by? I'll just pull up the main one and go to Jay Schwedelson. Here he is. He's just such a fun guy to follow. So the reason I'm saying this in the context of marketing and responding, so I attended his email marketing session at Social Media Marketing World, and that was his first time speaking there. But he's certainly an incredibly accomplished speaker. Hilarious too. Really funny. I like to make people laugh in my talks as well, speaking from the stage. So I tuned into his session and I got all these email marketing tips, some of which I knew, but I'm seeing how can I make that my own? I was responding to it favorably. I could feel it. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is this is really on point. So just like working with your type, as I say, seeing what you respond to, observing, what other marketers might be doing. And then projectors, remember I said earlier, one of your ways to work with your type as a projector is to really do your marketing where you're focusing on success stories, testimonials, case studies, before and afters, and then sometimes people will say to me, Mari, I'm just starting out, or I'm starting a new business. How do I have any success stories? Well, sometimes you can do something for free. Like this is me, like in my 5th year of studying human design professionally, and I have done a lot of readings, and I've given them all away for free. A lot of them because they're for friends or friends and family or clients, and I'm only just starting to put myself out there and go, well, you know what? I think I'm going to start charging. And so, yeah, so maybe that's an idea for you there. And the profile. And again, this is beyond the scope of today's training. It's something we would cover in depth in the group coaching workshop. Each of the 6 lines has a different approach. I've mentioned about me being a 1-3. Well, I know for me, even though I got my certification almost 2.5 years ago to teach what's called Living Your Design. It's one of like the fundamental foundational, no, one of the it's the foundational program when you're going to start really studying human design professionally, or you just taken it on for personal reasons. And so I have 10 line ones. And so I really had to go deep down the rabbit hole. And before I would become like an authority and be able to speak about it, like I say, I've done several. It's been a couple of years since I did a basic beginner's guide like this. So that's my first line, but then I have my 3rd line, and that's the one where I experiment. I trial and error. I don't mind doing that in my marketing. I will just put something out there and I'll start a program and people respond to it. Great, I'll lead it. If I don't get any signups, then I won't lead it. It's just an aspect of the 3rd line. So something we can go deeper into another time. But yeah, so if you would like to go further with me, I can either do a private reading for you, a personalized human design video reading, or I have this amazing group coaching program, which will be a small group, won't be a lot of people there. Oh yeah, that's a good one, Gloria. You can share your own success story too. Yeah, because that is the signature for projectors. Josie, should we wait for questions about human design offers? Yeah, I mean that's it right there. I think I answered your question. I'm not sure. And then I think what I'm going to do, because we do have something else coming up. And okay, very good. I just opened up the participant list and I put my cursor randomly on one person. So drum roll. And I did promise too, because I know, like I say, with 300 people sign up for this, and you can see that a lot of folks were not able to make it live and going to tune into the recording. So I didn't want to see that I'm tuning into my own self. And I can see where I would say, people will go, oh, you have to show up live, right? You have to show up live or you're going to miss out on this chance. I'm like, it just feels so not me. It feels inauthentic to me. It might be very authentic to someone else. But so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do 2 prizes. I'm going to give away 2 readings. One person who attends live and one person from our replays. Thank you for the drum rolls. You guys are fun. Okay, so the name that my cursor landed on was Rosina. Rosina Holland. Are you here, love? I see you in the room. I don't see you, but I see your name. Rosina Holland. So we'll reach out to you. And congratulations. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Gloria, Marilee. Oh, you guys are awesome. Adair, Jazz. Appreciate it. Yay. Awesome. Awesome. Prizes are fun. Why not? Yeah. So we'll be in touch. Okay. So pretty much went a little bit over and we're out of time. At the same time, I'm more than happy to answer any questions. Take a look at the reading or the group coaching. And definitely, if you feel drawn to respond, to contribute, emotional decision makers, you could take your time. You have till April 17th, just before, it went up again some more. So close, so close. That's amazing. You know, it's funny, Jess, is each time I want to calculate the percent, I figured it out. If I click on embed and then I click over here and it gives me the percent. The lazy way to calculate. 97% funded. OMG, my friends. Only 3% to go. Oh, she's going to make it. I'm saying she, you know what I mean? Celine, the whole group. You're welcome, Rosina. We'll be in touch, sweetie. Yay. Whoop, whoop. You're going to love your reading. Thank you, Lindy. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you're so welcome. Questions? Anybody feel free? I will stay on if we've got questions. Otherwise, you're free to go. And I'm going to leave you with this beautiful piece by Albert Einstein. Everything is determined. Oh, the beginning as well as the end, by forces over which we have no control. It is determined for the insect as well as for the star, human beings, vegetables, or cosmic dust. We all dance to a mysterious tune intoned in the distance by an invisible piper. I love that. I think it's actually an invisible bagpiper. Oh. Thank you, Jess. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. Oh, Sue. Oh, that's very sweet. Sue's asking me if I'm doing Train the Trainers. No, I don't plan to. I mean, I suppose I could potentially get myself down the path of doing the professional training, but so far I haven't responded to it. I really love my passion for this work is definitely to help people wake up to their brilliance and to start to embody more of their true self, and with specific application to business, marketing, money. There's a whole course called Profit Potential. You can look at somebody's chart and literally see how they are designed to make money. One aspect of many is the third line. And I mentioned, let me bring up my chart again. Where am I? Here I am. That if I go over to the advanced and I go, not advanced, to activations line. So if I hover over this, I have 5 third lines. Third line is about the material world, mastering the material world. All 5 of my third lines are in the channel of structuring, explaining my knowing, very individual. Speaking, is it any wonder I make money by being a public speaker, public trainer? Now, this is funny because it says genius to freak. That little tagline is, it's all about timing. If I say something that is right timing for me and right timing for people listening, oh my God, Mari, you're a genius. If I force the timing, I'm not paying attention to my gut, I get the timing off, either for me or for the audience or the listeners. It's like, oh my God, that Mari is really freaky. What a freak. What a wacko. But that's okay. That's okay. That's part of it. And thank you, Sue. I really appreciate your kind words. Sheila, thank you for all participating. I have a Toastmasters meeting to lead. Oh, I love Toastmasters. Your energy is up. I love it, Sheila. Yay, yay, yay. Gosh, I used to be so active in Toastmasters in Edinburgh, Scotland. Barry, you're so sweet. Thank you, Mari. Always good to review and hear the truth again. You bet. Battery's down. Yes, Mario Lane. You go get your battery charged up. Right, Jess, a bagpiper. Thanks, Lindy, for tuning in. I appreciate you. Thank you, Sharon. Christine says, as always, you explain things well and are exceedingly generous with your time. Thank you so much, Mari. You're welcome, Christine. It's lovely to connect. Sue says, I would like to start with a reading and info that to please fits with my mission to make the world a better place. And I'd love to know more about that too. Ah, that chokes me up. Yeah. You know, I mean, you're here. So many of you here, you're change makers. You're empowered entrepreneurs already. You absolutely see that the world needs your leadership. The world needs your guidance. Am I kind of wacko? Thank you, Jess. Sheila says, this was terrific, Mari. Very interested in a reading. By the way, one of the reasons I read the chat out is because those watching the recordings is they're not seeing the chat in real time. Let me know how I can contact and pay you for reading. You bet, Sheila. Yeah, absolutely. You can email me, Mari at Mari Smith. Otherwise, I do have it on that page. You're saying I was drawn to contribute to the movie. So I did. Thank you, Sheila. Oh my gosh, you're going to be able to see the movie when it's produced. Solana's saying probably early next year, but I know she's going to try to bring it sooner, maybe later this year. But if you contribute and you get one of the perks, one of the rewards, then those, I think it says on all of them, it talks about how it's delivered in May. I think almost all of them are coming in May, which is actually next month, a couple of weeks, right? Yeah. Yeah. So that's amazing. That's awesome. Thank you for doing that. And then obviously made the decision with my gut. So I feel really good about it. Thank you, Sheila. Oh, I love it. Oh, I'm not sure what you're saying. Your name isn't showing up. Oh, maybe you mean on the Kickstarter? You might have to hit refresh. Alexandra, excuse me. How do you make money through what? If they just ask for yes, no. Oh, how do generators make money? Well, I'd have to look at your individual chart. See, that's the thing, because one of the things to try to be careful with human design is getting too general. Oh, okay, Sue. Well, hopefully I gave out the right link. Yeah. Yeah, if you're seeing that page, then you've already signed up. Thank you, Sue. Oh, you're the best. Yeah, but yeah, Alexandra, I mean, if it's in the budget for you, see if you can get a reading or maybe join the group program, and then I can look at your individual chart. There's so much to it. There's so much to it. I mean, to be in alignment with yourself, but looking at the third lines is one aspect, looking at the open centers, looking at the what's called hanging gates. Lots of different ways to, and then, yeah, if you're a generator, having somebody outside of you asking you yes, no questions, and your body will be able to guide you as to, wow, let's say you've been sitting on a dream for a while and you've been squelching it because your mind's talking you out of it. But maybe there's something that's really lighting you up that you would just love to do. And if people were asked, somebody around you asking you, oopsies, asking you the right yes, no questions, then they could literally pull it out of you. That's one of the things that I've actually been trained. I've trained my reflector assistant of 5.5 years. I've trained her to ask me yes, no questions so that she can literally pull out of me what my vision is. Gate 2 is gate of vision. Gate 14 is resources. What direction do I want to put my resources in? And resources isn't just, money. It's energy, time, talent, skills, experience. So yeah, long-winded answer to your question, love, but there's so many other possibilities. Thanks, Sue. I'm excited. Jess, I sometimes use ChatGPT to ask me questions. That's brilliant, Jess. That's brilliant. You see that? Any of my fellow generators here, you can get ChatGPT to ask you yes, no questions. Oh, Sue. Yeah, after 10 years caregiving, I'm so ready to share this. You're welcome, Alexandra. Oh, thank you, Jenny. Oh my God, Jenny's here. Hey, honey, I was just talking about you. We got a couple reflectors here, at least to my knowledge. So Jenny Van Buskirk, my assistant of 5.5 years. Good job I didn't say anything bad about you, eh, honey? As if. She rolls her eyes. It makes all the difference in the world. And Jenny gets better every single time we meet. She gets better and better at asking me these yes, no questions to just pull out what is that vision. Oh, I love it, Gloria. You're honoring your emotional authority. You'll have to take 24 hours to think about your offer. Brilliant. Take all the time you need. I'll be here for you. Sue, you're coming back to business life. I love it. Oh, I see what you were saying after 10 years of caregiving. Oh, yeah. I know, and I know your name. We've been connected for a very long time. Wow, you need to figure out your new vision. Oh, I can't wait to see your chart. Yay. Awesome. Wow, I've had so much fun with you all. Thanks for the troopers that are hanging on to the last minute here. Any comments? Okay, so, now I'm going to put somebody on the spot, but I don't mean to. Lisa Sparhawk, you don't have to come on video, but if you feel like it, if you're I don't say in the mood, but Lisa, if you have anything to reflect about your experience, I'd just love to hear your voice. And if you're not in a position to talk, that's totally okay. Here she is. She's unmuting.
Hi.
Hiya, honey.
I went from my phone to the computer and then back to the phone. So I don't know if I can turn, I'm better off just talking rather than to try to figure out how to turn my camera on. This was phenomenal. It is so exciting to be part of this. It's exciting about the film. Everything right now that is human design in me, in every cell in my body, is so pumped. And I really enjoyed watching the comments of all of your participants coming up. This has been phenomenal. And I've never really witnessed you in a presentation because I've never done marketing. I'm on that little 1%. I'm outside looking in. So you're really inspiring. I mean, not that I didn't love you already, not that I needed any reason to love you more, but this was really inspiring, and I'm going to share it with a lot of people. So, I'm going to hand it out to people who might not even be involved or interested in human design, just for the whole experience.
Oh, thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Oh, she's just lovely. So she's a 1-3 like me, and Lisa and I, we've been through many, many classes, the professional training to be an analyst, and holding each other accountable to finish our assignments. And Lisa's been in her experiment a very long time, and just a lovely soul. Thanks for that reflection. I so appreciate it. And Jess, would you like to just to share a few words maybe about the movie or experiences? Jess has been on the team with Salan and about helping to get the word out. Whatever you feel like saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I just want to say working with you is amazing. You're such an inspiration. You're such a joy and like the embodiment of just being around you. I just absolutely love you. I put a little comment in there and just to share with people, like working with you is such a like breath of fresh air. Just everything about you is so nurturing and loving and inspiring. And you're so excited for exactly who that person is, right? You're like, exactly who you are and how you're experiencing this is perfect. And like, be more of you. I feel inspired to be more of me, which feels so good in my body. I love being around you. I love hearing the way you speak about human design. Just all of this. Love being here and just love you so dearly. The 4% experiment, amazing. I mean, we're so close. We are so, so, so close. And even the way like Mari like mentors me going through like the social media, just all of it is just, it feels like a big warm hug. So anybody who's like on the fence, like, I don't know, I'm not sure, like she's your person. Like she really, really is. She just makes everything feel so good. And that makes a difference when you're going through this, right? Because you're really exploring yourself on such a deep level and you're opening up parts of yourself where maybe you've rejected that before. Or maybe you felt like, oh no, I can't be this way. And Mari just like really helps you step into that place where you're like, this is a perfect part of me. I get to be this person. I get to be all parts of me. And she supports that in such a beautiful, beautiful way. So yeah.
My God, that was like 10,000% more than I was expecting. You're making me blush and cry at the same time.
Yeah, I just love being around you and what everybody's experiencing right now. This is her all day, every day, right? This is your pure energy, just your loving nature. So yeah, I absolutely adore you.
Oh, well, the feeling's mutual. It's been a real delight to know you. And I haven't known you too long, but it's just like a real click. Yeah,
Yes.
thank
Yes.
you. Oh, you're the best.
Mhm.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, Barry. Oh my God, Barry, and I've known you for like probably 18 years or something, right? Wow. What a joy to hang out with you all. You guys are amazing. Thanks for all the kind words. You're making me blush. Thank you. Thanks, Sue. She's one of the best instructors I've ever worked with. I appreciate you saying that. And this is where when I learned about myself with all of these like six planets in this one channel of strength of structuring my knowledge, explaining, and then add to that, I have the 1762, which is about organizing the details. So, all right, I look forward to working with anybody who feels inspired, your gut response, or take your sweet time and feel into it overnight, sleep on it. And yeah, I appreciate that. Oh, your words are so kind, and this has really been a long time coming of wanting to fuse the human design knowledge into the business and marketing world, because I've been a bit nervous. I'll be totally transparent with you all. I've been nervous in a little unsure of like wanting to manage this explanation to the world at large so that people don't think, oh, Mari doesn't do social media anymore. Oh, she's given up Facebook. She's gone all in on that woo-woo thing, that human design thing. It's like, no, I'm doing both. I'm doing both. All right. Huge, huge hugs. I love you all. I'll send the slides and the replay. And Yeah, thank you, Sue. Exactly. Who cares what others think? Human design and marketing for the win. That's what I catch my mind saying. Who cares, Mari? Who cares? You be you. All right. Yes, please go get some sleep. Much love. See you next time. Bye-bye, friends. Take care. Ciao. Thanks for your support. Yay. Check the numbers.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome.
And try and get returns for, whether.
Uh-oh. I'm going to check the numbers before I hit end. 39. We've hit 39. Oh my God, there's only like $700 to go. Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye-bye.